Welcome to the Matching Ideas with Resources Networking podcast sponsored by GLM Financial, an accounting firm in Schaumburg focusing on providing professional accounting and business services to small and medium-sized companies throughout the Chicagoland area. I'm Tom Ghosh, business strategist with GLM. Okay, well, welcome to 10 Minutes with Tom. Today I've got Neil Schwan, who I've met through the GOA a couple of times. What I understand about his business, and hopefully we'll learn more about it, is that he can save business owners some money by reviewing some of the important line items that we see on all of our accountant financials and things like that. So welcome, Neil. How's it going?
Good. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. It's going to be good to talk with you today.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I know that was just the most amazing introduction. It specifically shows exactly what you do for a living. But why don't you be a little bit more specific and tell me a little bit more about your business?
Yeah, that sounds good. So Schooley Mitchell, we are, like you mentioned, cost reduction consultants. And what we do kind of in a nutshell is make sure that our clients are paying what they should to their suppliers and vendors. And we are very specific in the categories that we have expertise in. So we like to focus on those areas only. Those areas are telecommunications, so phone, internet, and wireless, credit card processing, as well as small package shipping and waste removal. We do have some other categories within that, but those are the categories that are kind of our lead, and then there's some that are subcategories under that. But that's the basics of our business, and we do that through audits of our customers or our potential clients' bills and services to try to find those savings and negotiate better rates.
Very cool. So let's start with the phone first. So what is something that I should look for, maybe on their bills or on their monthly line items for telecommunications or internet? What's something I should be looking for?
Really, it's this goes for all of our categories, really. It's really a matter of if someone has had the same vendor for a long time, or just really doesn't know if they're paying the right amount. Because we'll go through their bills line by line and service by service, feature by feature, to do three basic things. First, we want to make sure that they weren't overbilled. So we go back through 3 to 12 months worth of bills to make sure that they weren't charged correctly and get that money back for them and put it in their bank account. Then we go through and look for their any of the services that they don't want or need, some things that that just aren't applicable to the way that they do business. And then lastly, we negotiate new rates and new prices with their current vendors, as well as alternative vendors, and then we can present that as an option. Some of the things people often find is what we call, that would kind of trigger this, is what we call rate creep. So every 6 months or a year, they notice that their bill is just slightly higher, or the rates are just slightly higher, or there's some new charge. And when they call to ask about it, they're given some kind of an answer that's not complete, sounds like something they need or something they have to pay for, and they're not really sure. And that's what we do. We have experts on staff that not only have expertise in it, because it's, honestly, it's not that complicated, but they have experience in it, expertise in it, and they have the knowledge and the previous deals to back that up, to say, look, this client does not need that service, and you need to renegotiate that or to lower that.
Sure. So what's an example of, of going back 12 months, something that they have paid for but haven't used or haven't needed? Do you have an example like that?
Yeah, a really good example, kind of a simplistic example of that would be if we use wireless. So on your wireless phone, someone has, a company maybe has, let's say they have 20 phones for their drivers or for their field representatives. And they have them all on some particular plan that has a threshold, if they're not unlimited. And they have some of the reps that are using the full amount of that, some that are not using anywhere near the full amount, and some that are going way over it. We would go back and look at those line by line and try to find the best mix of which package would be right for each phone. and then look for vendors that have packages that match that. Oops. Sorry about that. So then we would look for vendors that have packages that would match up nicely with that. So perhaps, some vendors that would have, if we were using the example of 20, that have smaller packages where you could have 3 on an unlimited, 3 on a low threshold, and 3 on a higher threshold. That's something that we could look for.
That's very cool. Very cool. So one of the things that I like to try to figure out is something that somebody says that would make me think of you and your business. For me in accounting, it's, I never talk to my accountant, or I do my own books, or something like that. Can you think of something that somebody would say that would make me think of you and your business?
Yeah, there's really 2 categories or 2 kind of phrases that you'll hear that would be perfect for us. The first is somebody says, I don't even know if I'm paying the right amount. I look at these bills and they're so confusing. There's so many lines, there's so many different categories within the bill, or I'm paying multiple layers. I'm paying one company that then pays another. That would be one category. I just don't understand it. And again, like I was saying before, it's not that it's complicated. It's just that people don't have time to learn it.
Right.
So somebody says, I just don't have time to mess with it, and I'm not paying the right amount. I feel like I'm not paying the right amount. The other one would be, I feel like I'm getting screwed, or some other more colorful way of saying that. I feel like this particular service that I pay for, trash or credit card processing, that I'm just getting screwed. And that's where we can come in. You don't know, you can't tell from looking at the bill if you're paying the right amount, and that's where we come in and figure it out.
That's perfect. Well, I'll definitely be keeping that in mind as we're looking at, financial statements and things like that. If we do see something like that or hear something like that, is there a good way to introduce you? Is there a good way that we can steer the conversation toward having them talk with you about it?
The easiest way to get the most complete information is by email. A lot of times when I'm referring somebody, I'll send an email to somebody that's from me, and including the person I'm referring to, as well as the new person that I'm referring with. Just a quick introduction saying, this is Neil Schwan. He's with Schooley Mitchell, and he's a cost reduction expert. I thought you guys should talk.
Very good.
But I would always, take that. If it's easier, you're in the parking lot and you just think of a text. Oh, that one guy, Neil, I'll send him a quick text. That's certainly fine too. Or I would love a phone call. I really miss conversations and face-to-face. So I'd love a phone call too.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And then the way that you end up getting paid for this, it's actually a free service to do the research, and then you get paid kind of the difference between the differences, a percentage of the difference, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the coolest things about our service is that the fees are all funded from the savings. So we do all the upfront work at no charge. So we do the audit, all the fact finding, the audit, as well as the presentation of the 3 different options. And if the client likes our ideas and they save them money and they decide to go ahead, then we take a percentage, or we share a percentage of that savings only for a limited time. And then when that time is up, all the savings goes to the client.
Very good. Sounds kind of like a no-brainer to me. So, hopefully this can be the beginning of a great referral relationship. And thanks for coming on 10 Minutes with Tom. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in person at a GOA event sometime soon.
That's great.
So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tom. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for listening to the Matching Ideas with Resources podcast, sponsored by GLM Financial. I'm Tom Ghosh, business strategist with GLM, steering direction, matching ideas with resources.